Zerstörer starten die Bombengeschwader zum Flug über den Kanal.
World War II. The war of strategy, innovation, mass destruction, and airfare. The war witnessed massive implementation of aerial forces into modern warfare. One contest featured aerial warfare more than any other. The results of this battle would establish the aircraft as a central component to any dispute. This renowned contest was the Battle of Britain.
The airplane dates back to 1903, when the Wright brothers' Wright Flyer 1 became the first man-made machine to take flight. With its skeletonized frame and twin propellers, it's rather outdated compared to today's aircraft or the aircraft used in the Battle of Britain, but that did not stop people from exploiting the new treasure those primitive airplanes could offer. They were soon transformed from their previous position of the gentle giants to be recognized as a deadly tool of war.
Due to the rapid developments of warfare in the skies, the Battle of Britain was not only one that invoked terror into the British Air Force, but also the civilians. The British were not willing to surrender their island to the Nazis without a fight.
Britain's Royal Air Force countered the Luftwaffe with their own technology and planes. Meanwhile, millions of people were evacuated to the countryside to escape the Luftwaffe's incessant bombings on port cities and as well as the capital.
But all these developments were not theorized overnight. The past decade was full of technological advances. The year is 1934. The Great Depression has been eradicated. The middle class and capitalism were in full revival. People rejoice in the streets, believing that the worst is finally over.
Little did they know that the worst was yet to come. One of the most interesting battles in the history of the world has lied secret for nearly 7 decades. The truth shall now be uncovered today.
The Battle of Britain began with Hitler's attempt to reclaim Europe for himself. It is about May or June at this point in time. He had conquered most of continental Europe, including northern France. With France out of the question, Britain was the only Allied power left for Hitler to conquer.
You see, Hitler planned his invasion in mid-July, and made it popular amongst other countries. He wanted to push the British into an armistice and avoid wasting supplies. He wished to rid Britain as a competitor to Germany, and to prevent them from proving a further threat to German forces in the future.
This fight was like none other. The use of aviation had been limited in the past wars. It's almost as if these guys had no idea what they were doing. The only time anyone had experience with aerial warfare was in the Spanish Civil War, which was essentially like a practice run for the Luftwaffe.
Hitler gathered his army chiefs and plotted to attack southern England. They estimated a 4-day initial conflict with the Royal Air Force. However, the conflict could turn into a 1-month offensive. Hitler's offensive would not only target military bases and coastlines, but civilians as well. To finish it off, this offensive, he planned to send in the Nazi troops and surely take London, and in turn, take all of Europe for Germany.
Hitler's plan had one major flaw. If he had employed it on any other country, it might have had a fair chance of being successful. But what he didn't take into account was the power of the Royal Air Force. It was a brilliant machine. It was a killing machine that employed its forces on the world.
At the time, with Winston Churchill having just been informed of the impending attack, the Royal Air Force was about to have its first take at aerial warfare.
Based on the new developments such as the concoction of the Spitfire and the radar detecting technology, Britain gave Germany more than what it bargained for. Not only was Britain able to detect incoming air invasions, their morale was not demolished by the incessant shells and explosions that Germany threw at them.
It was limited feeble reconnaissance planes that were easily countered by British forces. The British tried to take this to their advantage, as Germany's initial targets were not hit. This led to Germany's slight alteration of their initial plan. It led to terror bombing, and terror bombing is a technique in which key political areas are bombed, causing a fall in morale, and the possibility of armistice. These areas were prominent in the Battle of Britain.
And now an exclusive interview from a man who recounts his experiences as the Germans used his house as a base to supply themselves with aerial attacks against Britain. I still remember the day when the German officers came to my house. I was making croissants at the time, while everybody else was sleeping. The German officers came in and started screaming at me, "Get out! Get out! This is not your house anymore." I had no idea what to do. My family was still sleeping, and my croissants were in the kitchen. I tried to pack my clothes, but I did not know what to do. Also, I heard planes. Boom, boom, explosions everywhere. My wife, my girlfriend, the rest of my family was dead. My girlfriend was dead. My girlfriend.
The
officer was extremely rude to me. He said, "I don't care. Get out. Get out." Everybody was dead. Also, the croissants were burned.
The British faced sudden air raids that occurred during the night at times of low visibility that were carried out by the German Blitzkrieg. The time for a major technological breakthrough for the British was now. They needed something to detect flight movement from across the channel, and this led to the rise of a new system called the Dowding system.
Hugh Dowding was an ingenious mastermind, a true visionary of his time. He saw the need for an advanced methodology of tracking the German Luftwaffe. What he did is that he helped develop the radar.
The radar was truly magnificent. I mean, this was cutting edge. The British all of a sudden had this magnificent advantage. They could now know when planes and where planes were, find them, and eliminate them. The tables had turned, and so would warfare, forever.
The British were making it physically impossible for the Germans to succeed. The mid-range German fighters were useless in the vast British Isles, and any German fighter that survived getting shot down was instantly imprisoned. These factors, plus Hitler's plans to bomb cities in lieu of military bases, led to the inevitable defeat of the Nazis. The Royal Air Force had proved to be on top and had taken the reins. They showed Hitler's first defeat and ended his peak of expansion during the era. The tables had turned. Hitler's Germany was now beginning its decline. British morale soared through the roof, and a new phase in world history had begun.